So here I am in one of my favorite places here in Nashville, and one of my playgrounds is the Gardens of Babylon at the Nashville Farmers Market. We're surrounded by some beautiful lush houseplants, but the key ingredient here is keeping them alive, happy, and healthy. So what we're going to talk about are some key elements you got to remember when it comes to your success with these plants. Biggest thing I want everybody to always remember is right plant, right place. It works for the outside, it even works for the inside. Don't just be attracted to the pretty colorful foliage and think anything's going to go anywhere you want it to. You have to match the plant to their preferred light levels. It's the biggest reason why most people aren't successful when it comes to houseplants. Ask your nurseryman. Don't be afraid to ask these questions. Take pictures of your space. Note the sun exposure in these rooms throughout the day. These are very critical points in making sure that you choose the right plant for the right space. Now, once you have chosen the right plant for the right space, the next big step is soil media, or planting it up in the container. How is it going to be? Different ways of approaching the container world. There are some where it is you can take the nursery container that it comes in, pop it in a container that usually doesn't have any holes in the bottom of it, cover it with some decorative moss, Spanish moss, reindeer moss, mulch. So another type of potting configuration that you might find yourself with is containers that maybe don't have holes in the bottom of them, but you still want to plant them up in some fresh soil. Key thing here is remembering to use some sort of mechanism for drainage. Rocks, sand, broken containers of terracotta that you have laying around, get creative with it, it's cheap. If you're even looking for something as a reuse material, packing peanuts. They are very lightweight. They don't take up, they can take up as much space as you want in a container. For really large containers, you don't have to fill it all up with soil. Use some non-biodegradable packing peanuts, the ones that don't break down in water. Now, if you have a glass container that doesn't have any drainage, get creative with it. There's colored stones, colored glass, river pebbles, colored sand. And the last configuration with containers and houseplants is ones that have saucers either attached or they're separate and they have holes in the bottom of the containers. The drainage and the rocks and pebbles really aren't as important, but the key thing is just allowing that water to soak away from the roots. And then it gets on to the question of, how do I pot this houseplant up? What is the best type of soil to use? This is a key ingredient when it comes to the overall success of your houseplant. I have one of my favorite types of media. It's a soilless media. It's usually going to be peat moss based. Your most ideal elements found within houseplant potting soil are peat moss, maybe a little bit of good aged organic compost, sand, perlite, vermiculite. There are mixes out there like this one behind me. It's called cactus mix, and don't let the name fool you. You can actually use this, in our professional opinion, on a wide variety of houseplants. Why? Because even foliage plants love good drainage. Another big key ingredient I see people failing with is they just keep their houseplants too wet, too moist. Big thing to always let your houseplants dry out in between waterings. Use a moisture meter, use your finger. So the key takeaway here is to resist the temptation to over-nurture houseplants. Letting them dry out in between waterings is a very key element to success. Another key element to success is feeding them the right way. Houseplants really aren't heavy feeders in the macronutrient world. They're heavy feeders more in the micronutrient world. This is where organic fertilizers excel over synthetic. Make it easy on yourself. If you have a situation where you're potting up a houseplant into its new soil in that container, use a slow release granular fertilizer. Mix in a cup, half a cup, depending on the pot size, mix that in the potting soil, boom, you're done. You can forget about feeding that plant for the next year, year and a half. Now, if you have a situation where you are taking the houseplant in its original nursery container and dropping it in a container that doesn't have any drainage or holes and covering it with moss or a decorative cover, you want to use maybe a little bit of a water mixed fertilizer. These come in all different shapes and sizes, everything from fish emulsion and seaweed to a less stinkier option, which is some of our favorites, is a Monty's plant food, which is a little bit goes a long way with this type of fertilizer, maybe 1 to 2 teaspoons per half gallon. Water that in maybe once every 1 to 2 months, especially for flowering houseplants, orchids, begonias, cyclamen. These are big key plants that need fertilizer right around the early spring, late winter time when plants are naturally going to be blooming inside. So just like outdoor plants, indoor plants can sometimes have the possibility of getting bad insects on them. Don't worry, don't fret. There are key ingredients that you want to have under your sink at the ready. Now, when it comes to indoor plants, we like to think on a preventative measure. Things like neem oil, sprayed on your plant once a month. Just as in outside plants, inside plants it works great. Dilute it down in water, spray it on your house plants, even if you don't see any signs of bugs, more as a preventative. Now, with your typical houseplant pests, if you do see some mealybugs, aphids, scales, a lot of it can be wiped off with rags and soapy water. You don't necessarily have to buy a chemical for it. Just take a clean rag and wipe some of the surfaces of the leaves, pull them off by hand. If it's a larger job, there's some insecticidal soap recipes that you can find on the website out there, as well as off-the-shelf insecticidal soaps that may have a little bit of a pyrethrin base in them. These are a little bit stronger than your neem oil. If you see the existence of pests on your plants already, use insect soap or even a spinosad, which is also for organic gardening. Mix it in with water, and you want to spray the whole entire plant, even the undersides of the leaves. Most people kind of forget that a lot of those bugs are living underneath that leaf and they only spray the top. But concentrate on the newer growth as well as under the leaves. Take your plant outside on a patio or balcony if you have to. Spray it off with a hose afterward, and your bugs will be a thing of the past. And nowadays, scientific research is even proving the benefits of indoor foliage, whether it be cleaning indoor air pollutants, lowering stress, making a work environment more productive. Hey, the science is out there, and it's time to start really thinking about incorporating some of these houseplants in and around your office or your home environment. And with these key ingredients about soil and fertilizer and pest control, you're going to be very successful in doing that.
For inspiring garden tours, growing tips, and garden projects, visit our website at volunteergardener.org or on YouTube at the Volunteer Gardener channel, and like us on Facebook.